All right. Welcome, ladies and gents. We've got the final round of Group A and TTL. This will actually be the final day of group stage. The other groups, we know where the players are going to end up. We know who's relegated, promoted, and in the playoffs. But here, we aren't exactly sure. Now, we have a solid guess. Like Leary, we're thinking likely goes first. Barles and Tato likely in second and third position. But then you got MbL there. And basically for MbL, things only change for him if 3-0s result in this series. So if MbL were to lose 3-0, he is just relegated and he falls down to Gold League, which would be a disastrous outcome for him. If he wins 3-0 versus Licks, and then Tato doesn't get wins, then MbL could actually go into the playoffs this week. So that's kind of where we're at on that. I consider MbL a big favorite. I've spoken to MbL. I've heard MbL speak about it. He basically is just like trying to qualify for the Red Bull event, put a lot of energy and effort into that. He's been a little bit burned out. He wasn't really looking at this as like a season where he was necessarily going to like, you know, crush and go to first place or anything. So I think, honestly, people don't want to hear this, but I think MbL would be happy with just staying platinum for the next season. And I think that's where his mind has been. That's the goal here today. And we'll see. So we got Licks. Again, Licks is very hit or miss. To me, it kind of felt like the first 2 weeks he wasn't really prepped. Then things got a little bit stronger for him, but I don't know. He's just struggled to compete with the rest of the competition. He's bringing his villager here now. They're both doing this. Their scout and their villager. They want the early dock. MbL's scout may find that Vil, but then he will also find Licks' scout is nearby. And MbL's right now thinking he's going to deny the dock, but now Licks is here too. I mean, they both could deny the dock from the other. This is a weird early situation on high tides we see a lot. So Licks needs to damage control this quickly, hit the dock, get the palisades, and pull the scout away. We have a pause. Are they lagging here? Really awkward time to pause, obviously. To me, it feels like we're going to have an immediate unpause. I don't know exactly what's happening, but
yes.
Yeah, there's the unpause. Licks. Oh, God, lots to manage here. Not sure what that was, but he is going to lose his scout because of all of this. And even though the villager survives, MbL should be pretty happy with this. I'm not sure. It's that they're so close to each other right now. Scout is just off the pace. Maybe we'll see. If you don't bump into anything, it's likely you could actually save that scout. And MbL is actually walling in the villager from Licks. So Licks will complete the dock. It's a big deal. Like if MbL, oh man, if MbL actually killed that scout, that'd be so nice. But he doesn't want to take the risk. He knows there could be something around, and he backs off with his scout in the end. So MbL will just dock right next to it. Now, there's a really weird thing that can happen here. Now that you can garrison docks and they shoot arrows, I'm pretty certain that MbL's dock, once garrisoned, would shoot and kill this villager. I think MbL's villager will be safe if the villager's on the right side. I think Licks' villager would not be. We'll see. Obviously, they've had a lot of other things to look at. The elephants have been brought in. For Licks, the scout still being safe means you can push in some ostrich or something and get some extra food. I expect both of these civs to go barracks and man-at-arms. But yeah, let's see what MbL does with his fishing ship. Like, on one hand, you want to kill the Vil. Yeah, this is so dumb. Yep, there he goes. It's smart from MbL. But the arrow's, like, missing a lot, and... But on the other hand, Licks, while Licks is going to lose the Vil, Licks actually has working fishing ships. So MbL's probably like, come on, you stupid arrow. Like, the arrow is so inaccurate. He'll have a second fishing ship in here in a second. I mean, I'm kind of happy with this if I'm Licks. You can't think about it too much as a player. You just assume that villager's dead. But that's a lot of idle time for MbL. And your fishing ships are working. Like, what's going on here, man? Like, how's this villager not dying? To me, it looks like the arrows are actually connecting with it every single time. But okay. It still was pretty smart from MbL to wall it in. And the villager is dead. All right, so villager's dead. MbL's fishing ships work. Licks will be on the way to Feudal Age. A bit faster than MbL here. Barracks is already on the way up. Now, what that does is, as now Licks is garrisoning... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Now Licks has shot a fishing ship. This is... Guys, some players are really uncertain of what they think about this whole garrison dock thing in the first place. That whole interaction is really making me think about it. Well played from Lix. He gets his revenge. Anyways, Lix can't build a second dock there easily because the initial villager isn't there. And so I don't think he will go for the second dock. He did end up losing his scout to MbL's wood line here. But he does know MbL's wood line. I imagine his military is going to be going that way. Now for MbL, I think he's expecting some pressure. And he's going to wall in the patented MbL way, which we call the egg walls. And if he walls in this little oval, it's much more realistic that he can get a full wall down versus the full wall to the edge of the map. So he just walls to keep himself safe early. And Man-at-Arms on the way, and the patented Lix forward villager. Lix loves his forward vills. But it hurts. You don't have a scout to block to attack with the Man-at-Arms. And you don't necessarily know everything either. But because he saw the lumber camp, he's just going to tower. This is where Lix is in his comfort zone. And who knows, that tower could end up being pretty nice pressure here. MbL, still no archer range, but he'll drop it. And neither player has added anything on water just yet. So MbL won't see the tower, but MbL sees the Man-at-Arms there with his walls, so I think he knows. His scout will move out to see what Lix is up to. And Lix will go for the archer range from home. But very passive opening from MbL. Listen, I'm telling you, MbL is the favorite here, but MbL gets nervous. And I think, like, he will feel like he should. It's actually so much more nerve-wracking when you have the expectation of you have to win sometimes. There's a hole right there, which MbL finds in the last second. Yeah, if he drops the first game, I could see some very nervous energy from MbL. Lix might feel like he's kind of got nothing to lose. There's the Hulk there, disrupting the fishing ships. MbL will garrison. Hulk will fire arrows, or the dock will fire arrows onto the Hulk when the Hulk is not directly next to the dock. And tower goes up. For MbL, he already had another wood line, so he just relocates from it. It's not actually too bad. And he's still just repairing, and he's still just playing archers, which is more than fine. Eco upgrades look similar. Transitions will be important here. Lix is even going for arson now, which I personally love to get, especially with Japanese, because you're already so good at taking down buildings. But I'm not sure I'm a very big fan of getting arson when your opponent already has archers here. Classic MbL, though. MbL gets housed, and so he gets wheelbarrow early. Getting wheelbarrow on a map where you're not farming a lot early is not really a great move. But also, if you're pop capped, you just got to go for a research instead. MbL didn't end up killing the Hulk out here. The Hulk's actually just pulled back for Lix. They're up here just protecting. Yeah, both players are just so scared of the arrow fire there. I'm wondering what the fletching time is going to end up looking like. There's the blacksmith for Lix. And Lix is going to go to the south right now. MbL's scout is still around in this game. So if MbL were to move that scout around and look for that, it's kind of risky. Typically, you'd only see a player take this risk if they their opponent lost the scout. But I think you also take the risk if you only have, what, 2 wins this season? 2 wins. Yeah, this is a 2-win move. High risk, high reward. I'm happy with it. It'd be crazy if he actually goes for the stone instead, but I think he just wants the food. But on water, they're still fighting. MbL's invested a little bit more into the attack up there. And MbL's army, almost like on cue, is looping down towards the south. And Lix is expecting MbL to move forward towards his base. Lix has no easy way to track that. MbL's scout is here. He doesn't look, though. Oh, my God. He doesn't end up looking. But he is still being rather sneaky here. And Lix doesn't see him. Kind of crazy. Like, if you're Lix, if you're expecting MbL's army, it's going to be at this wall here, because it's not completed yet, or down here. You're not going to expect him wherever he's going to end up. They're still microing a lot on the water here. 5-4 KD. It's been a very close game. Like, if you didn't watch any of the other sets between these two, there's no real difference in terms of how they've opened up here. If anything, I think it's been as 50-50 as it gets. Lix is walling, and MbL, he doesn't see the walls. He doesn't have a target for attack. Lix's walls are going to give him enough time here. And now Lix is actually going to move forward. Remember, Lix can't build a defensive tower. So if MbL's army were to have run in there, that would have been horrible. But MbL just taking his time here. I think he's waiting. He's paranoid that Lix is going to attack him. Just not really being super active with that army, at least compared to what he could do. And there goes the big army from Lix. Remember, he has Arson. He knows where the wood line is. He knows where the berries are. I think Lix will actually see this now. We'll see if he gets attacked at all. Yeah, Lix, I think, noticed that because he moved the villagers away, which is good for him. There's the army onto MbL's wood line. He didn't know about that tower until now. That's a good tower for MbL, but also it doesn't fully protect the other side. And Lix doesn't really even need a tower at home either. Lix has done a great job. He lost his Hawks up here, but he's still just lingering around with the fishing ships. As long as you don't lose water very quickly, you're usually fine here. And MbL will move off the berries. MbL needs some defensive army here. He does have the range units coming over. But things are looking pretty solid for Lix here. And it's just been a little sloppy for MbL. It hasn't been... Like when you have someone at this level who's just really clued into the timings, the attacks happen 30 seconds faster, right? The transitions happen 30 seconds faster. And MbL's archers make it to the berries there. Lix, not the fastest reaction, but he doesn't lose a villager. He's got the skirmishers around, and he still has his army back here, which he's protecting, and I think he's just planning towards Castle Age now. Feels like MbL really needs a market right now to balance out his res. He does have a nice army count on lands. Army type could be questionable, and oh my freaking god. Oh my god, dude. We got 15 villagers building a market from Lix. But hey, that's what we're talking about though, right? Get to Castle Age ASAP and you can change the game. So it's not a bad thing to have the market buy the food and click up. For MbL, he's building it with 2 vills. Probably could use a couple more on that. A fight in the middle. They both trade down an archer. Remember, Lix he's an old school player. I guess MbL could be considered that as well. But Lix is like 40 years old. Still able to compete at the high level. Still able to give players like MbL some problems here. And he clicks up. MbL's about to click up. MbL lost that scout moments ago underneath the TC. He never checked the south, guys. He never looked. Yeah, Lix has been around a really long time. But to be honest, MbL's been around like 15 years himself. So, MbL's not... I think MbL's like more so my age, right? So like maybe like 30, 32, 33. But yeah, Lix is like late 30s. I might be confusing him with someone else who's 40, but... It's crazy how we have like an 18-year-old and we have a 40-year-old in Platinum League. Crazy. Just Age of Empires things. Nice fighting here from MbL. I think as long as he isn't immediately threatened in early Castle Age, he's fine. So taking the fight here is awesome. And MbL could now actually start to expand and fish a little bit. So he will have an actual eco lead from having the water. I still really like Lix's resources, though. His resources are looking very good. I like the fact he's gone to stone for a second town center or for towers. And I think once he gets the upgrades, MbL could have some issues on the front of his base. The tower is enough for MbL to protect himself, but Lix is just going to go for the sneak. Guys, a lot of these old school players, they're all about sneak attacks instead of engaging your army straight up. And actually, I say old school. It's actually a lot of the Chinese pros, like Vivi and Yo and Lix. Very rarely do they want to just like do the same thing as you and engage in the middle. They're all about this type of thing. They try and, as I say, control the game, go to different areas, and make it messy. And so right now for Lix, so far it's working. He hasn't killed anything, but he could. His university was a little bit delayed, but you can tell MbL's under a little bit of pressure. That skirmisher will go down. That archer will go down. I mean, that's all a result of MbL having to look over here. But still, it's MbL, and he's super adaptable himself. He's getting the university for ballistics. And he will also have elite skirmisher, which tells me I think Lix is going to maybe need some siege here. Lix's army sneaking around this way. MbL will bring his army back to chase. Lix drops TC number 2. I think if Lix can go for a siege workshop on the front of his base right now, it makes life very difficult for MbL. But he's committed to the eco first. And committing to the eco first is fine as long as MbL doesn't immediately punish him, right? Nice saves there from MbL. MbL doesn't lose another vill. MbL also snagging ballistics. University upgrades are faster with the Malians. A Town Watch upgrade from Lix. It's another old school thing. These days, people are like, "Oh man, I don't want to fall behind a Vil. I'll never research Town Watch." But Lix is thinking, "I'll fall behind 5 if I don't have the vision to know where MbL's army is." And he sees MbL's army is there, and now he's going to sneak. And MbL will have a decision: do you spend time chasing this army, or do you push forward? Yeah, now Lix sees the elite skirm. So I think you see the elite skirms in multiple areas now, and you see ballistics. Now you would need the siege. Well played from MbL to hold here. Still only 3 fishing ships, but, I mean, the score leads there, which makes you feel confident. Lix is actually going to add his own elite skirmisher upgrade, which is a good move, but he doesn't have that many skirms right now, so it'll be really difficult for him to match. And MbL's killing the crossbows, and will add the siege workshop, and has the second TC. He is losing his fishing ships to the crossbows, though. That's super annoying. Yeah, crossbows will do really well against the Hawks as well. Lix getting pushed off his golds. He's queued up the skirms. He's just waiting for the numbers and the upgrades to come in. Maybe has enough army here. MbL still has never checked the south this game. MbL's got more army moving forward. Lix has another sneaky crossbow army. And sorry, the crossbows in the north. Crossbows in the north are actually still alive, too. Wonder if you can justify just putting them in the tower there at a certain point. I mean, skirm number on the screen here is even, so MbL will likely lose the potential for a lot of damage there. And now crossbows are coming in on the gold, and we got crossbows coming in on the wood line. Guys, what a game. What a game. Like, Lix is really giving MbL some problems here. A couple villager kills on the wood line, backs away. That tower's still going to be a massive pain. Here he clears up the skirms. Here he will clean up MbL's army. And there's the third town center for Lix as well. And Lix is killing a lot of villagers right now. MbL's had a lot of problems. And even though he has the water locked down, he doesn't have the fishing ships there. Again, though, it's coming down to the siege. I keep coming back to it. Like, siege is going to be so important. MbL will eventually clear this. And then MbL has 2 mangonels. Like, Lix needs his own siege workshop. He's actually dropping towers, though. Interesting. Well, if you can get guard tower, and you can protect literally everything with guard towers, that's awesome. The thing is, I would expect MbL to always find some damage somewhere. It sounds good, but that's a lot of towers that you have to invest into. But here comes MbL. Lix just seems really resistant to adding his own siege. And there's the guard tower upgrade. All right. I mean, front of the base is protected. This area is probably the next area MbL would move. You do have the small benefit of keeping this tower as a guard tower as well, but I think it'll be too late. A T90, thoughts on Champ Scarls in this matchup? I think it's a much better matchup for Japanese long-term because they have the superior champions in the Champ v Champ. They get, like, Bracer with the towers and the castles, which is just helpful overall. I think if Japanese get to Cav Archer and Halb, it gets really difficult for Malians. I think the main timing for Malians would actually be with Bombard Cannons and early Imp. But yeah, in theory, like, champions for both could be a really good option. That's a really tough transition on this map. Yeah, and it's a weird matchup, too, where I think Gebettos might be one of the #1 things you consider as the Malians. So you see this, right? MbL's like, I can't go there. He shows up here. Now he's like, I can't go here. You're beginning to feel a little awkward, but at the same time, Lix has no army around. And here comes Lix again, sneaking. It's so frustrating, players who play this style. But when a player plays this style against you, you need to just smash them. You need to just... You cannot give their defense any power. I love it from Lix, though. It's good value. And behind this, Lix should have a very nice economy. MbL's being as patient as he can. He's at least taking down the archer range. But the skirmishers here killed 2 more villagers for Lix and forced MbL away from the wood line. I mean, there are some things Japanese could consider here, but I just think the #1 thing is your own mangonels. And if Lix loses this game, it's going to be that for me. Imagine if he had all of this, but 1 or 2 mangonels. The siege workshop is up now. And MbL dropping some farms at the back. Just moved some villagers to stone, which Lix has been on for a while. And Lix still has the villagers down here, too. I think MbL's completely forgotten about this. I think it's a bit of lack of experience in prep. We're round 5. I don't know how many games he's played on this map. But like I said, with MbL, the storyline's a little bit different this season. I think for him, he recognizes He just wants to be back in Platinum for the next season. And here he goes. He goes Rams. But there is a Mangonel now. So the guard tower needs to focus on the Mangonels. MbL also needs to repair. We have another tower from Lix. Lix was never expecting MbL to have the guts to go in here like this. And this is just so good from MbL. He will take down the tower. He denies the next tower. He completely punishes Lix for just trying to play defensive with no military. And the Rams were an excellent call. Now, it's still risky. But MbL still has his 2 Mangonels here. And he's right on top of Lix now. Lix's eco is super idle as well. This town center and this town center are idle. He does have 4 TCs now. Vil counts even. He does have his own Mangonel there. And MbL's still got random skirms in the back of his base to deal with. Oof. And MbL loses both his Mangonels. It's so easy. You look at that and you're like, how? It's because they're doing everything else, right? They have to add farms. They have to manage eco. There's so much else to the game. I think MbL will be pretty happy, but man, what a close game here. Resources collected is pretty much the same. KD, essentially the same. The amount of technologies is about to be the same. I mean, this is as close as it gets. I consider the Civ matchup slightly better for the Japanese the longer the game goes on, but I think MbL is the better player the longer the game goes on. And MbL is a lot more military than Lix says right now. For Lix, it's just 2 crossbows somewhere and Mangonels. That's it. But as MbL micros here, Lix actually repairs the Mangonels. He's bringing in another one. I don't think MbL can stick around here and fight this. And if that's the case, Lix can just castle this hill. You're up against mainly skirmishers. MbL's crossbows are underneath the TC. And he... Oh, did you see that? He noticed he was not noticed by Lix, and he thought about going through, and then Lix saw him. And Lix will castle the hill. Loses the Mangonel. What a game. I think Lix being on stone down here in the south is going to end up being a really big factor here. There's so much stone. And what do Malians do against Samurai? I think they'd have to go for gunpowder. But to get to gunpowder, you need to be an imp much faster. And MbL is going for a forward castle here. He does not know Lix is building his own. He'll find out the hard way because he loses his 1 Mangonel. He's now losing Vils as he runs in there for that castle. And Lix, I mean, Lix is just playing amazing. Lix is just playing really solid, man. And MbL, he knows he's behind and he feels he has to force the issue. I think this is the correct play for MbL. Just back up. Build your castle on the hill. Don't force it in towards a tower and a Mangonel. It's so critical that Lix is actually an imp first here, though. Right? Like, if Lix was still off the pace with imp, MbL could build a forward castle, click up to imp. But Lix will have 2 castles. Lix could make trebs from those castles. Of course, he can make the samurai as well. Other things to start to think about would be this gold, which MbL in theory should have locked down. Also, relics. I mean, MbL's already pre-placing a mining camp on that gold. And that outpost villager for MbL actually gets sniped by the Mangonel, which is a big deal considering Lix is down here. He just brings another villager here. What a messy series, man. You could definitely tell they're playing bigger distances here, so it's a higher ping game. And you can definitely tell both players need a little bit of a warm-up. Lix doesn't know that the castle's there. He'll find out now, but he snipes the Mangonel, which is good. And if you're an imp faster and you could build up trebs for this, I think that's okay. There goes a castle for MbL. Lix is running around with the samurai. We saw in the Viper series how samurai are a pretty decent raiding unit, apparently. Even against ranged units. But let's see. I still was kind of unconvinced in that game, even though it ended up working out. I think you need more upgrades on the samurai to justify it. Lix is working on it. Down here, MbL will take down the Mangonel. I don't think he... Okay, so he saw the mill. There's actually a small argument to delete that mill in those situations, but a player will never think of it, because then MbL is going to look for the Vils, and MbL finds the Vils. That's 2 big things. You find the villagers on stone, but you also remind yourself there's stone down there if you're MbL. And MbL's got a couple Gebeto out. Gebeto are very strong against samurai, and most of the samurai that Lix has made did die to skirmishers and castles. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry, but this I mean, these castles from these players have been absolutely insane. Lix is going to drop a castle there. I mean, he's already making trebs. This is like right smack between MbL's castle and MbL's starting TC. He's bringing the vills. I don't know about this castle. I think you're actually fine if you just relax here for your Lix. I think this castle's completely unnecessary. He didn't know MbL had the rams, I guess. But also, you know, if the castle goes up and there's also trebuchets coming from the other side, this might actually just win him the game. Hold up. I take it back. That is a crazy castle. His castle will go up. It puts MbL in a really awkward position. MbL sacrificed a lot of his military there. Yeah, castle's going up. Lix is out of stone at the moment, so it's important that he keeps these castles up. MbL does have a little bit on stone, and MbL's researching chemistry. But, you know, MbL wants to go for bombard cannons, probably from the siege workshops. He's got his own castle and a siege workshop here. This siege workshop here is just producing rams. What a weird game, man. This is a great opportunity maybe for Lix to just lean in towards range units, though. I think you use your castles for trebs. Lix is going to make a run towards the north. Just because MbL has a couple ships there doesn't mean that Lix can't take that gold for now. And the big difference between the civs is that the Malians do not get bracer, which means the castles and the skirmishers are much stronger for the Japanese. MbL only has like 3 or 4 vills here now. So repairing this castle becomes very unlikely. Or very difficult. Now, Lix has 10 vills, but there's also pressure coming from the other side. Great job from Lix to snag some of these eco upgrades, too. He's getting a lot of blacksmith upgrades. He's getting great eco upgrades. The skirmishers could maybe just focus down that cannon for now. Just scare it off, basically. If you get the snipe, even better. Yeah, he'll get the snipe, too. Not bad. And MbL's castle will fall, which means MbL's trebs are exposed. And if the samurai and skirmishers come in, I'm sure the trebs will go down. And yeah, MbL's kind of scrambling right now. Like the knights he's queued up in that stable, that's because he's desperate. He doesn't have any upgrades on these knights. Still does have an army on this side. Still does have the trebuchets. In the north, his Hulk is doing what he can. But is not stopping the villagers on gold. The Hulk is trying his best, but that is a lot of gold mining for Lix that MbL needs to spot. Lix's trebuchets. I mean, they now turn around and start to fire on MbL's trebs. The castle still stands for Lix. Lix has a much bigger army. MbL only has 1 cannon. He loses a treb. And now... Okay, I totally expected that bombard cannon to go down. But the bombard cannon has to back away. And MbL's going to lose his next treb. Which means Lix actually keeps his castle up. Which means Lix can push MbL's castle. And MbL has no clue what to do. MbL loses his next bombard cannon. Where was this Lix all season, guys? Where was this Lix weeks 1 through 4? I thought there was no way, right, that MbL could potentially go down today. But Lix takes the first game. If Lix wins 2 more games, he is platinum, and MbL will be relegated down to gold. If he plays like that, he can do it. Oof, that was a great start from Lix. My God. Again, he's just a very unique player. For most of the game, he just refused to take straight-up fights against MbL, right? He would never go into a situation where he was making the same type of army in the same position on the map. He would go for little sneak attacks, and he played the little defensive maneuvers with the siege and with the towers. And then when he had to fight straight up, he went hard with it, with the skirms and the samurai. This castle, again, I question. I actually think it won him the game because it did stay up. It was the key to taking down MbL's castle here. It cut MbL's base kind of in 2, and MbL didn't know where to go. Yeah, I mean, great game from Lix. Now, civ-wise, again, I think Japanese have these slight advantages, but we've seen Malians beat Japanese plenty of times. That's just because Lix was able to have better eco control, take slightly better engagements, and win the game before bombard cannons made the difference. So, yeah, I kind of expected to come in here today, and for people who had never seen Lix play before, I would be sitting... Oh, guys, Lix used to be this, and Lix used to do that, and Lix, you know, I'd start telling stories about what Lix used to be able to do, what he did last season in TTL, but he showed up like a god here. I don't know why we have best of 5 here. Let me fix this. But yeah, he makes things interesting. So he's got Vietnamese here. We'll know exactly where MbL's base is with the Vietnamese bonus, and he's going to decide to walk forward. Why not? And try and get a little bit of a lame against the Master Lamer himself. And as he does this, he will find the sheep and say thank you very much. And now MbL sees him and might even see the sheep are leaving. Now, Chinese are the #1 civ pick for MbL. It is one of the best civs in the game. They are undefeated this tournament when played, but they've only been played 6 times because people have banned them so frequently. And I was critical of Vivi, another Chinese player, for not banning Chinese in the draft, and his opponent won with Chinese first pick yesterday. So, I at least here, Lix is recognizing, okay, Chinese are very strong, and I have to get this win. So, let's just go make life difficult. And this is actually very nice, because you steal the sheep, but you also delay MbL from pushing in his deer right away, because he is attacking you. I still think Chinese are favored here just because you always have that slight bill lead, but that's not too bad. Lix will just take the sheep home. We'll probably go back and push in some deer. Map is Reverse Acropolis where the wood lines get awkward. MbL's other boar. He does see, so he doesn't have to worry about losing that. And, oh, he didn't actually find his deer yet. All right, that definitely slows down what's possible for MbL. That deer just wandered back into the distance here. Or into the vision. But I think he wasn't aware of that, and he saw these deer, and now he's just going to commit to the deer from the middle, which will take a really long distance here. Yeah, late game, I think Vietnamese are a bit better. I think, like, late castle age, the game starts to shift a little bit. Vietnamese are a very strong civ. It's just purely the Chinese start that makes them really strong. But if MbL doesn't have that super clean start because he doesn't get all of his deer right away, and he doesn't have his sheep, game might end up being fairly even here, so. T90, do you know why Capture Age shows 3 building slots for Dark Age advancement? I don't, and I'm going to be honest, I never ever look at that. Sorry if that's something you guys look at. Was that happening in the previous game? I just realized it. I never look at that because in my head, I'm already looking for what buildings they need. But yeah, you're right. For MbL, it's about to be 2 Dark Age buildings, and now there's 2 out of 3. So, I don't know. It's supposed to show however many buildings you need to advance up, but it would only be 2, not 3. So, I don't know what's going on there, so. Barracks from Lix. Interesting. Again, Lix is old school. I wonder if he considers going Drushfast Castle with the extra sheep. That could be kind of nice. You have so much food. You're taking a risk because you know Chinese or you feel like Chinese in the hands of MbL might be a bit better than you. Again, Lix hates playing meta against somebody who's better. He always wants to play something that could catch the opponent off guard. I think MbL would have wanted to go up on 20 pop or 21 pop. Might actually have to do 22 pop here just because he was late with some of the deer. That's not the end of the world, though, because you still have really healthy eco. And there's quite the distance between you and the opponent. All right, we actually have Loom for Lix. Lix is going to go Feudal Age. So I'm wrong on the Drush Fast Castle strat. But I might see a forward here. Would not surprise me to see 1 or 2 villagers go forward and try and build an archer range on the front. I have a lot of these Vivi games coming back to my head. Lix will have watched his teammates' games. He would have talked to his teammates at the very least. Could definitely see Lix go forward. I have no shortage of food. There's a villager walking forward. Feels like this vill's coming across the map right now. Cole, welcome back, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind words. Thank you, Jolts. Thank you, Mustard. We had Toasty. Appreciate the resub. Thank you, Angrier. Thank you, Guru. Jack and all shades. Welcome in, guys. Howdy, howdy. We already did our giveaway. For those that just got here, I'm sorry. We might hit the next giveaway goal. But crazy that we hit the giveaway goal pretty much at the start of stream. You guys have been good to me. Thank you. It would be crazy if Lix could complete the sweep and relegate MbL today. It wouldn't be the first time that MbL's been relegated from Platinum, but I think it'd be like when that happened to MbL the first time, you're thinking, okay, that will never happen again, right? And with Lix coming in with 2 wins, winning 3 to save himself in the final moments would be a lot to ask. Okay, MbL sees the militia. Lix's scout is running around. MbL did not see the villager. Lix is wondering, okay, where is MbL? What's he going to focus on? I think he's assuming that MbL is fully walled, which MbL is not. Scout is a bit more HP there for Lix, but then MbL gets the villager hit. And now Lix is probably going to run over to the hill there. And MbL is going for both eco upgrades. MbL doesn't know it's a forward archer range. And losing the scout could be really bad here in the hill. Oh, MbL gets the kill there. That was really close. It could have gone either way. Lix loses his scout. Men-at-arms are not in yet. Archer range is completed. MbL is choosing to go for scouts. Resources collected is higher for MbL. That's just Chinese things. He's building lots of houses and walls over to the side. Still has enough wood and food and resources in here. Gold is going to be the questionable thing. But against archers and man-at-arms, if anything, you probably just want to play skirms. And, oh, man, that scout kill for MbL is huge. The fact that he could immediately come over here, see what's going on. Actually sees the villager, which he might be tempted to attack. Lix... I'm worried for this villager right now. MbL's like, let's wait until he runs in, and then maybe I can wait for another scout. Nice damage control from MbL. Lix, your villager, my friend. Well, the villager wanted to do what villagers do, which is collect resources, and the villager's dead now. So far, so good with it from MbL's, at least with that in mind. That villager could have easily towered here. MbL doesn't really have the army to be able to fight this easily, though. Almost feels like MbL might Vil fight and scout fight at the same time, but there's the archer range. There's auto scout for MbL. So auto's in chat, and he'll get lots of scouting on the map. And again, that's just because he took that little coin flip fight. That could have gone either way, and it went his way. But the archer range is under a lot of pressure. He will complete the archer range, but this is a lot of damage onto the villagers. And the range might not even be up for very long, too. He needs to get the skirms out quickly. Behind this, Lix is fully walled, so he won't take any counter damage. He's only applying pressure to MbL. And MbL's just happy he hasn't lost many villagers here. He also killed one, which is huge. And there's the first skirmisher from MbL. I mean, in some ways, obviously, you're not happy here if you're Lix, because you've lost a villager and you haven't killed any. But on the other hand, your Civ's really adaptable in Castle Age, and it's not like MbL can counterattack you easily, right? The walls look very nice. Your army also could still get value, you just don't know. And MbL is spending a lot of food, so while his Civ has a way of bringing in lots of food with the Chinese farms, maybe you keep MbL forever feudal here, and then MbL dies to you in Castle Age. Yeah, this is the last thing that MbL ever wants in this position. He's just running up against walls, and then he probably has to turn around and come home. At a certain point, MbL is going to think, all right, he's not going to have much of an army anymore. I don't want to stay in Feudal Age for too long. And so what you might do is you might skip your upgrades. But with these gold positions, I think you need your upgrades. I think you need to really respect this. MbL is going to see this and be like, wait a second, that's a much bigger army than I was expecting. But guys, we joke about auto scout, and it's silly when you see a pro player use it, but it's such a big deal because pros, especially MbL, they always look at the score to get a feel for if the game is trending their direction. And whether or not the opponent knows auto scout's out there, or the guy who clicked auto scout knows that's why his score is higher, it doesn't matter. Your higher score, you're happy. This is adding hundreds of score. And it's also going to scout areas of the map that are really important on this map, right? Like, from Lix's perspective, Lix doesn't even know where those wood lines are. So, auto scout's pretty huge. MbL tracks that, sees the archers, getting fletching himself, bringing over a lot of military now. And I'd like to see him wall around this, so archers can't get to the golds. He's actually just going to drop a tower. He doesn't know exactly where that army is. He knows it's probably over here somewhere, but he also thinks that range could have more archers in it. There's actually no archers in it anymore. MbL searching. MbL finds the army. Target acquired. Can he kill the army? Lix doesn't fight. Lix engages a little late here, and MbL gets exactly what he wants. Yeah, that's fine. You just want to clear this army. That's an easy clear from MbL. Beautiful response after losing the first game. This could have been so much more difficult for him. This could have been so awkward. Again, with his gold position being there, with the forward range, with it being licks, there's definitely some warning signs, but he's fine. He clears it up. Again, the only downside is he just spent so much food on that. So now he's got to get the army forward. And licks will click up to Castle Age. So... But MbL could still sit here. He can disrupt the gold and he can disrupt the wood line. So it's not like he can't do anything. And he is actually going to... he wants to wall in the archer range. But I think he's thought better of it and is bringing his army back first. I can't tell if he's going to wall this in or if he's going to leave it there. I see. Okay, so he waits. He wants to wall it in now, and he's waiting till his army's over. Got it. I mean, MbL's farming eco is ridiculous. With Horse Collar as the Chinese, like, that's unreal. He'll use the market to balance out his res. He'll go to stone to recover the stone he's using on the walls. Licks cancels any production from that range. I think what Licks should do here is a second barracks and Fire Lancers. Yeah. Like, I've been talking about it a lot. I think Fire Lancers is insane. And even though they nerfed it, it's still a really strong unit. And it's kind of a no-brainer against your opponent having skirms, because you can't make archers. Licks does have the stable too, so he adds the scout. The old school play would be to go knights here. But you don't want to go knights into Chinese either. I guess Chinese don't have camels anymore, but then the Chinese do have Fire Lancers themselves, so... Did MbL see the second barracks? He did. And that's important. Archer range is just being walled up. Is there a hole there, guys? I feel like there's a hole there, right? Because... No, there's a palisade in there. That's what it is. It's a different type of wall because he ran out of stone. So that will be completely walled in. Villager coming forward from Licks. He obviously knows MbL's gold positions. He was there for a long time. The scout's able to escort the villager forward. If this becomes siege and Fire Lancers, this could become very strong. Would MbL see this here? MbL seems paranoid about keeping his army alive. That is so bold from Licks. That's crazy. Like, dude, there's so much army here. Don't build it there. But the scouts run in. MbL will chase. Villager still hasn't been spotted. This makes it seem like, to MbL, like this range is really a big part of Licks' strategy, when it's not. And the Villager's still building the siege workshop. Licks will sneak a town center up over here. And he's coming forward with Fire Lancers. There's MbL's auto scout, by the way, underneath the enemy TC. All right. I mean, Licks loses his scouts. He didn't do a lot with that, but he did distract, which is probably good enough. Second town center is something MbL will maybe never look for. Guys, Licks is playing like a beast. Honestly, he's playing so good. Like, to not kill any vills against the Chinese, and then I'm sitting here feeling like this position is very strong. Very unique situation. MbL doesn't know about that siege workshop. I'm wondering where MbL would think about a town center, guys. I would think about it right here. Like, okay, he wants it there. I'm sorry, but if there's Fire Lancers and there's siege out, that's going to be a really big issue. A Mangonel is going to roll this way, maybe. And if MbL sees the Fire Lancers running like they are, I think he should almost expect there's a siege workshop. But let's see. Right now, he's just chasing down the units, feeling like he needs to kill them. There he goes for the town center, which ends up being safer. Mangonel's on the way. The Fire Lancers are just fighting, so they're not baiting him towards the siege because Licks wants to pressure the wood line, and MbL will drop a tower. Yeah, see, the thing about the Fire Lancers, they have the ranged and the melee attack. They don't cost any food. They're just super easy to spam, man. You combine that with Vietnamese having really cheap eco upgrades and really flexible options otherwise, it's just an insane unit. It's not like a pikeman, where the skirmishers do a lot of valuable damage there. Now, Cav Archers is a bit different. Cav Archers, you could do more damage against the Fire Lancers, but still, Fire Lancers dish out some bonus damage there, and then you have the siege. So it's kind of awkward for MbL to manage this at the moment, but he must know there's a siege workshop around now. I mean, that much is obvious if there's a random Mangonel here. Still doesn't know where it's coming from. Trying to group up his units. Licks is on 3 town centers. Licks, 3 weeks ago, this would be 1 TC play, and none of the eco upgrades would be in. But this is 3 TC eco behind this push. MbL will have 2. I think he's about to add his 3rd. And he's doing the right thing. He's trying to counterattack Lix at the moment. Really like Lix's town center, though. It kind of protects a lot of that eco. What Lix doesn't know is about MbL's TC here. So he's waiting for it. I think he's looking around for a town center on a wood line. He'll find out the hard way because MbL has a rocket card here. Really well played from MbL to already have a siege ready. A really nice job to distract with the mobility. And there's the shot with the rocket card. And now Lix knows. There are the Fire Lancers and the Scorpion chase down the group of skirms. Here the Cav Archers loop back. I think still just looking for the freaking Siege Workshop. MbL's going to see the houses too and then think the Siege Workshop's there. Like, how has MbL not found the Siege Workshop? He's seen everything on the map, but he can't find the Siege Workshop. That's so funny. Also, I think Lix deleted his archer range because he doesn't want to accidentally produce something from there. Lix is probably confused as well because he never sees MbL because MbL never finds a Siege Workshop. MbL scouted 100% of the map. Okay, now he finds the army and... Oh, big shot from Lix. Big shots from Lix. And now MbL finds the Siege Workshop. Okay. The lead's there for Lix, but it's really close. And the rocket cart ends up getting a nice shot there for MbL. Let's see if it's a 1-for-1. It is. That's a 1-for-1 I think MbL will take. Because now his CA could just maneuver away from the Scorpions. But he didn't take the Siege Workshop position away. And now 4th town center for Lix. And he's getting skirmisher upgrades. It hurts to have to delete one of your archer ranges, but... No, I was kind of thinking that Lix would play towards rats and archers here instead of skirms. Because he was really heavy on stone, but maybe he'll do both. Resources collected super close. But the 1,000 score lead, man. And that's so much of that is just because the auto scouts on the map. And it's really nice for MbL to be able to think about where to go. Oh, nice attack there from MbL. You can think about where do I expand? Where do I have stone? Where do I have gold? What areas of the map become really important? This tells him almost immediately that this is the area that's important. That TC is a target for Lix. We're just simply seeing the issue of, like, one-and-done military choices, right? Archers, from a forward range, become an issue because then you can't use that range later on. The Fire Lancer's forward Siege Workshop becomes an issue because, well, if you lose control, then you can't use that Siege Workshop anymore. Whereas MbL can just consistently use all of his buildings. There go the Fire Lancers, though. They're really good against rocket carts here. And the Cav Archers are kind of out of position. So if Lix can just snipe the siege... he snipes the siege. Now he could actually drop a castle if he wants. I mean, maybe. It still seems kind of panicky for Lix. He's dropping down the ranges. Does he not have a market? No, he has the market. You could tell he's under a lot of pressure right now. MbL will always bring in more siege. MbL has another Siege Workshop coming up. And there goes Lix. Lix is just going to go for it. This is what I thought he'd do immediately after sniping the mangonels. This is a good play. And this will work. No problem. MbL doesn't have enough time to get the army there. It's too close to the town center. That's fine for Lix. And it makes it way more difficult for MbL to consider any type of push. And MbL has to consider how he handles the military. Because he's playing Cav Archers, and Rats and Archers dominate Cav Archers. I think MbL's choice is pretty clear, though. MbL's just going to just get the castle out of the way. He balances out his res. He idles his TC. I think we'll see villagers come here for a castle soon. A little sus to do that when there's a Siege Workshop. But I think it's good thinking. If you can just win the Trebor, you take down the whole front of Lix's base. That's maybe a game winner. How do Chukanus do against Rattans? I don't think Chukanus do good enough against Rats and Archers where that is something you consider. I don't think they do good enough. And yeah, Lix tried to hop out there. And the mangonel just gets taken down. And there's MbL with the castle. Lix can't see that. And Lix can't do anything about it either. Because MbL still has a big enough army. Can MbL finish the game over the next 4 minutes? If he can, he is safe. And the final game will hopefully be a good one. But it won't really make all the difference in the standings. He just needs one win to be Platinum next season. Lix should know. When you see this castle, you're like, oh, crap. All right, I got to go Imp as well. Lix will sell wood. He will click Imperial. And he will be on the way up. He should make it to the Imperial Age. But MbL will have like a 90-second timing advantage. Where things start to look bad for MbL is the other forms of military, though. The skirmishers would counter the CA. MbL always has a rocket cart waiting, though. And that is just a house. And MbL also still has lots of gold, lots of stone. He could probably shift around to more gold and stone because he sees the whole map. His Civ doesn't get Bombard Cannon, though. And Vietnamese do, so... I think Lix kind of has the right idea. When you see MbL will be on Trebs so quickly, you just have to accept that you need to repair this castle to buy time. And you want to play Imperial Skirm and Bombard Cannons. MbL will eventually need to play Cavalier, I think. Again, the Vietnamese could always go Cav Archer. They could always go Halb. They could always go Fire Lancer. There are a lot of options there. But I think Lix is running out of gold, too. He's got this gold. I'm seeing the villagers from this TC automatically wander this way, which tells you that the player's running out of gold. He will find that stone, though. This is a castle you place when trebuchets win you the game. MbL's like, I gotta do so much damage over the next couple minutes that the deficiencies in my civilization's tech tree just doesn't matter anymore. That is actually Lix's MTC. I think he's fine. He does garrison there. But it's going to be a double castle treb production from MbL. As he's actually getting infantry upgrades. So I think he might try and go Fire Lancers. Which the Chinese can do. They're not as good as the Vietnamese Fire Lancers. But they're still a very strong unit. So I think going Fire Lancer is actually a really nice call here. If you were to try a Cav switch, it could look really vulnerable against Cav Archers and against Fire Lancers and against Halbs. First thing that Lix does is chemistry, because that takes so much time. He's already stacking up the siege workshops. So pretty clearly in his mind, it's just like hold, play towards Bombard Cannons. We cannot make Trebs here. We will make one, which I don't hate, but he can't do a lot more than that. Cav Archer counterattack from Lix. MbL doesn't have ballistic, so he actually misses this. I think he doesn't realize he misses this, so we'll keep an eye on that. MbL is going to go Fire Lancers. Siege Workshop is what Lix is targeting there. But yeah, Lix will lose this castle, but as long as he prepares for that. Oh, man, but he wasn't prepared for this. MbL finds the stone. Remember, auto scout, dude. Like, he knows to just look around at all these different areas. He'll track that, and he'll raid this. Huge raid from MbL. 10 villager lead now. And he's about to take this castle down. And he realizes he didn't have ballistics for his CA. So he has time to get that upgrade. And he's still stacking up the barracks behind here for Fire Lancer. Yeah, it comes down to the Bombard Cannons for Lix now. I think in terms of like resources and map control, things are going to be really bad for him. MbL even got into the base with one Chu Canoe, and all these villagers are still idle for Lix. Like, Lix doesn't even know where he can go to in those other areas. He's running out of space and time. He's going to have to push the middle. But he does have Fire Lancers. He does have Imp Skirm with upgrades. For MbL, he's getting Elite Fire Lancer, though. Like we saw before, I think Fire Lancers should be really nice against Skirms. If MbL can get all the armor upgrades. Lix is housed now after losing his castles and his TCs. He's stacking up more. Bombard Cannons are here. MbL sees it, backs away with the Trebs. He's cooking up the big tech switch to end the game. And preserve his position in Platinum League. That's the hope anyways. Bombard Cannon will snipe a Treb. And MbL doesn't get the snipe he wants there. And now his castles could start to fall. This is starting to look dangerous now. MbL's probably realizing he needs this fight soon, but he wants to wait until he's fully upgraded. He's waiting an extra 60 seconds here. There's really nothing else happening here. Well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, the fact that Lix is on that golden stone is huge. MbL isn't there with anything. But yeah, it's all going to come down to this fight. So Imp Skirm should be better against Fire Lancers than other skirmishers. I haven't seen the fight enough to know. I just believe in Fire Lancers because I think the unit's insane, and I think MbL is going to win the fight. But let's see how it goes. There is a Fire Lancer meat shield there for Lix. MbL goes into the fight. Armor upgrade kicks. He's got so many Fire Lancers. He's got 40 of them, and he's got enough. He will full clear this. He will take the Trebs, the Skirms, and importantly, the Bombard Cannons. Great job from MbL to recognize he needed Imp, the double castle on the front, and then the tech switch of Fire Lancer was the correct choice. There's a lot of choices there that players would go for in the past. So I don't think it was necessarily a natural thought for him, but I think it was the perfect choice. And yeah, Lix has to tap out. So I was worried for MbL after the first game, but very well played this game. Lix also played like a beast. He tried his best to slow down the Chinese. It went with the forward. I think the Fire Lancer siege push and boom was good. But the problem was in Castle Age, he didn't have a consistent army. I don't think he knew what he wanted to make. He made like Cav Archers. He made some Fire Lancers. He tried Elite Skirm. He didn't really commit too heavily to anything. And maybe that's just because he had to go for the boom. And he had to go for the TCs to catch up with the Chinese. We've got Lix in the red. Game number 3 playing as the Dravidians, his number 1 pick. We've got MbL in the blue. And unfortunately, we know that this game does not change Lix's survival efforts. But it's like, isn't it a shame, right? He's played so good today. He could have won the previous game. Who knows what happens in game number 3. You come in the 5th round and Lix is playing like this. And I can't help but feel like, man, if we had this version of Lix round 1, round 2, round 3, he gets an extra win or 2, and it's a very different conversation. That's why I'm so particular on players' openings and everything in the first and second round, right? Because we're going to be in these scenarios at the end of the group. Things are very punishing, though, right? For every player who's been relegated, usually it comes down to 1 or 2 wins they could have had, should have had. I like both civ choices a lot here. Lix likes to go forward, usually. So I'd be shocked if we don't see a barracks and a forward villager from him. MbL might expect that. MbL has picked Burgundians, I think, for Flemish Militia. Once they changed and added the Flemish Militia to the Feudal Age barracks, it pretty much completely changed this civ. The Flemish Militia is so strong. As Ornlu likes to say, it's not about the Burgundian balance, guys. It's literally just the Flemish Militia. And, you know, I love that from Ornlu because it's like him implying that, like, the Flemish Militia are OP, sneaky, you know? There's no other bonuses but the Flemish Militia. Now, I mean, you do technically get the wood bonus, but it's true. The Flemish Militia are that good that you can end up going for them here. Lix has docked the south, and in this little pool, you'll find the fish. MbL has done this as well. So we've had a couple non-standard starts where people don't end up going for the dock, and they go for the early barracks, but it hasn't happened yet. And Mr. Mac, thanks for the prime. Reed, thank you for the new sub. Listen, I know we had the big sub gifters, and obviously, big thanks to the sub gifters because that's insane. But the amount of new subs or resubs that have come in over TTL is amazing, guys. So thank you. Please don't feel like your sub isn't appreciated because, I mean, I didn't like lose my mind like I did with Xylax and Cat Thief and Nicode. So okay, so thank you. Yeah, neither player laming here. Both players taking their time just to get as much food as possible. You only have one rhino on this map, so that's a big reason why you might want to push in your zebra and your ostrich. T90, speaking of last game, currently we barely see any Rattans from pros. Are they sleeping on them recently? It's just the nature of not having a lot of time, right? A lot of units are very strong if you have time. Time to mass them. We also never see Mangadai from pros, but one's in chat if you think Mangadai are insanely strong. I mean, in that previous game, MbL, he eliminated Rattans as an option because he saw the castle and said, Imp and Trebs, right? And so basically what you would need to do to get Rattan archers there is you would need to have more map control. So I don't think people are sleeping on Rattans at all. I just think it is a unit you need time to mass. And so frequently you're also in a state where you're in Imp and you got to make Trebs, and it's like you can't make Rattans and Trebs. Also, if you're ever like, why don't pros add X unit? It is usually because that civ has a bunch of other very viable options, very strong units. So Vietnamese are a perfect example. You're just going to see Fire Lancer and Cav Archer and other things from them because the Rattan Archer, because there's just too many options for that civ. All right, now scouting's key now. MbL should be looking for a barracks. He actually hasn't found a barracks, but he just freaking lucks out. I don't know how some people do it. He doesn't find the barracks, and he's just like, oh, look, militia. So now he's like, oh, all right. Kind of expected. I mean, I have to assume MbL expected it because the Dravidians are one of the best at man-at-arms openings on these maps. And MbL quickly house-walling up, expecting the pressure. Also has a villager down here. And he's making his Flemish militia now. So I think a little bit of gates, houses here to block off Lix. Lix finds MbL's dock. Lix knows MbL's woodline is there, but he has to run around. By the time he gets over there, there will be some Flemish militia. They produce very quickly. And MbL's will go for another dock over here. So slight resources collected lead for MbL. Kind of reminds me of game number 1. It seems like he's very... He wants to protect himself in the opening against Lix. And then he feels like if he doesn't take losses, he's just the better player. Obviously, we found out that that's not the case in game 1. But Lix, he just didn't get to any villagers in time. And now he runs into the Flemish militia here, and that's a lot of Flemish militia. And they're fast, and MbL will get the clear up. Beautiful job from MbL. Yeah, Flemish militia are just so strong. The only weakness is that you have to wait till Feudal Age to make them. MbL's got to be happy with that. Second dock's down here. He should know that Lix is out there somewhere, but he didn't actually confirm where Lix's fish will be. And 4-0 KD for MbL. Lix opting towards walls. He's going for an archer range. He's building a tower in case he's counterattacked. MbL's got a lot of Flemish militia moving around, though. T90, how do I enroll for the giveaway? I want those DLCs. When I do the giveaway, I'll explain. You just basically have to be here, so. But yeah, you can enter via chat. We'll do the giveaways after this, in between this set and the next series. MbL's basically playing very greedy here. Typically, you have the range follow-up. MbL's like, because of the Flemish militia, I don't need to go for the range follow-up. I could just run around with these and harass you and focus a bit more on the water aspect of the map. MbL also has Bowsall too, so that's a lot of wood income, which could lead to fishing ships. Just surprising to me that MbL didn't go for a blacksmith. I feel like getting armor on the Flemish militia would have made a lot of sense there. But here comes the scout. We'll find the dock. Lix does have one Hawk there, but MbL will have 2 Hawks arriving. And MbL's Flemish militia still will mean that Lix has to respect this somewhat, but most of the resources around there are protected by the tower, so Lix is going to move forward now. T90, how do I unenroll for the giveaway? I already have those DLCs. Well, we're doing a merch giveaway, but if you don't have to unenroll, you just have to not enter. I'm realizing now that was probably a really stupid joke, but yes, you just don't have to enter. There's no unenrolling. So, Lix sees the Hawks are here, and the Flemish militia, which could actually be helpful. And the fish are not working. MbL does have the range at home because he's expecting the archers. Nice job from Lix to at least hit MbL almost immediately, right? If you wait around too long, this could get dangerous. But MbL will move off the gold for now. He did actually collect just enough gold. And he'll add a couple skirmishers here, so... As we trend towards Castle Age, MbL has collected more resources than Lix. And I think army-wise, MbL's going to be in a slightly better position as well. It depends on how things go, so... T90, what is better, armor or damage? It depends. There's no answer to that. Generally speaking, if you have a ranged unit, like an archer or a skirmisher, you want to attack first. If you have a melee unit, like infantry or cavalry, you want armor first. It is situational, but basically follow those rules, and I'm sure you're going to be fine. That's like kind of the basics of it. T90, how do I do my taxes? Taxes? What are taxes? You guys actually do your taxes? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. And yes, IRS, I pay my taxes, okay? Don't come to me for the advice there, please. Unless, unless we're talking about the market in AoE. Research coinage first, you know? A Hawk v Hawk. But there's, again, the numbers are there for MbL. But Lix did sneak away with the fish. That is a very nice move here. In theory, MbL should realize that eventually, because he doesn't see the flag, but it's not necessarily that simple. But just like MbL said, I don't want chaos, I just want eco and Castle Age. And that's exactly what he's getting here. He made it look very easy. The defense from the Man-at-Arms and the Archer follow-up was pretty much perfect. And you could make more Flemish Militia as well. They get better stats in Castle Age. But MbL will clear this. For now, it feels like his game plan is just to play skirmishers. He hasn't killed off many of the archers from Lix, so I kind of like that decision. Cruz says, over the last 8 to 9 years, you've changed so much, and great job with keeping the game in trend. Thank you, Cruz. Cruz, are you the same one who called me sexy earlier when I started the stream? Or was that another Cruz? I recall a very weird message or two from you at the start of stream. So I'm just trying to gain a frame of reference on how serious your comment is. MbL clears up the Hawks there. MbL even getting 2-man Saul right now. I mean, it's cheaper. It's an age ahead. It's an Imp Wood upgrade. Usually people don't get that one, but I think MbL is cruising himself right now. And there's TC number 2. He knows that the army's not over there from Lix with the active scouting. And he will run to the corner now for a 3rd town center, I believe. He's being incredibly greedy right now. The fact that he hasn't gone for elite skirmisher first and fletching, or rather bodkin arrow, is crazy. I think if this game would be the difference between staying alive or not, we'd have MbL play this a little bit differently. Flemish Militia does get through to potentially kill a villager, though. MbL will be happy with that. But yeah, man, I mean, he's going full greed. Flemish Militia are still attacking over here. He will also have the Hawks out. He needs to defend from this, though. That's kind of my worry. You've got the town centers. You've got the water. All that's insane, but you do need to kill these crossbowmen. And MbL's waiting. He's getting elite skirm now. And he's getting bodkin, so these were the upgrades he was delaying. And if he just micros it for 30 seconds, he should end up being okay. Lix knows he's really far behind, so he wants to force the issue here. Just punish MbL for not having any upgrades. And MbL's Hawks still down here. Hawks up here as well. He's actually winning that fight. But he does get pushed away from his main base here. Yeah, this TC's up. For a while, I think there was a skirm standing over it, so MbL will have that. And now he's got skirms around. But if there's siege push from Lix as well, I don't know, man. Like, Lix doesn't have the best economy. But if Lix plays siege onto this TC and also crossbows, could be kind of tricky. Then again, Lix wants a town center, and MbL's going to see him here. Lix is never expecting MbL to be in so many different places at once. And MbL actually spots those villagers running. Oh, and MbL's going to trap him. Oh my god, MbL actually traps him. Oh, that's so bad for Lix. He needed the crossbows with the siege, but he can't escape. And MbL, moving back and forth with the villagers as well, completely smashes him. He also still tracking this. We'll see what happens there. But that was a sick move from MbL. He'll drop his own siege workshop now. But Lix doesn't have any active fishing eco. MbL's got 9 to 10 fishing ships working. And the fishing lines upgrade is coming in. And MbL's bringing the ships over to deal with these vills. And he's bringing his skirms. The greed will pay off for MbL. And I think from here, it's just a matter of can he defend from the siege. If he defends from the siege push, he's flying. And it's just so tough for Lix. You can't see anything MbL's doing over there. So it's very easy for him to just hop out with a Mangonel and surprise you. And now if you ever try to go to the outside, okay, which he is doing, but still, that is kind of questionable too, because there could be some galleys around later. Really difficult situation. And this is exactly what we said, right? Lix actually looks, he micros, but he looked away for half a second, and now MbL's out of the darkness. MbL will take that trade every time. 0 on food for Lix. 32 on food for MbL. 32. Now that's like villagers on random berries and, you know, fish, but like still 32 on food against 0. And he's got the 3 town centers to produce villagers. And if he wants to add more fishing ships from the docks, in theory he can. And the Hawks are back here finding the villagers as the villagers try to escape. I mean, just painful situation for Lix. But it was always going to be ambitious for Lix to come in here and get the 3 wins, right? Even if he won game number 2, it was a lot to ask Lix today. But I'm happy, even if Lix gets relegated here. Like, I'm happy that this is the version of Lix we got to see today, and he clearly took MbL to the limit at times. But it's tough to stay alive. Every time someone gets promoted to Platinum League, you should immediately be asking, are they able to stay up? In some cases, players will stay up this season. In Lix's case, he will go right back down to Gold League. MbL will be Platinum again. And MbL, as I said, I think he didn't necessarily invest as much energy into this season. He's got other things going on. He's not full-time AoE. And he was focused on the Red Bull qualification, which happened at the start of the year. So MbL said, I just want to be Platinum again. That's my goal here. He completes that today with the 2 wins, and was a very strong performance. I think you could just see how good MbL is, that like the typical opening of Man-at-Arms and Chaos on this map just did nothing to him. He was just like, no, actually, just wall it out perfectly. And then he's snagging 2-man Saul and dropping town centers everywhere. I mean, he was expanding like an absolute demon. So, well played, MbL. I'm personally happy to see him back in Platinum. Would have been an epic story to see Lix somehow survive here today with a 3-0, but it also would have been heartbreaking because I think MbL is Platinum quality and always makes things interesting in the groups. So, well played to him. And we have 2 more sets left in the group now. These groups determine the top 3 situations. So, nothing's confirmed for the playoffs. Everything below that is confirmed. With those results, we've got MbL ending with 7 wins. We have Lix ending with 3. We have Repart ending with 1. We now have to figure out what happens here at the top of the group. Leary gets 1 win in a series against Barles. That puts himself into first. But how many wins Leary gets does also matter for the situation with Barles and Tato going 2nd or 3rd in the group. So I think Tato's a big favorite over Repard. Leary's a favorite over Barles, so it's possible Tato would pass him and go into the 2nd place position. That's essentially what we're fighting here now, or fighting for now, all right?